Here we go, baby. We're back. Paradise Valley Podcast. We've got a good one for you. A little switch up of styles, first take edition this week. Joining me now, the Teddy for 20 plus, Patrick Jamross. What's good, dude?
What's happening, baby?
Are you as fired up as I am? Ready to go?
I'm ready. There's been some pre-production heat that I'm ready to let out to the league.
Never seen before in pre-production meetings the level of argue. I don't even know what was going down. Let's let the Rockers come on in and join us here too. D Brown, what's up?
What's good, boys? Oh, that was a hell of an intro. I just got fired up with the music. Woo!
I'm playing Molly Q today. We're doing first take. We got Dap in the studio. What's good, Dap?
Just looking forward to the battle that's about to go down. Some heat.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who the producer of First Take is, but that's who Dap is for the day. All right. So do you guys want me to lay out? I feel like everyone in the league probably knows the context a little bit of the battle or the argument or the tension that's going on between you two. I'll lay it out a little bit. Obviously, Dak getting hurt for Ross gave him some QB troubles. Made a move, got Big Ben. Big Ben against the Ravens, tough matchup this week. Teddy in the rain, looking for a QB, has been the last couple of weeks, obviously, ever since Dak got hurt. And our other friend here, the Rockers, D Brown, has been hoarding, as some have said, QBs, 3 or 4 at a time most weeks. And, so that's where kind of what the situation is to this point. So I'm going to start off with a question to D Brown. I kind of was thinking through the argument beforehand and just want to give you guys each a chance to – I'm going to ask you one question to each of you, give you a chance to answer uninterrupted, kind of like Biden and Trump, but actually not interrupted. And then we'll see where you guys go from there, let you guys get a little open debate in. So, D. Brown, you've had 3 or 4 QBs on your team most weeks, especially down the stretch or after the first couple of weeks with Deshaun struggling. And then you also called out Ross. And you seem to have his team in mind a little bit when making some of these moves. So I'm curious, what's your true motivation for having a QB-heavy roster for a lot of these past few weeks?
Well, I mean, definitely right off the bat, it's personal. I mean, it's Ross. I can't say that if this was another person, another owner, that we would definitely be doing the same thing. But just the fact that it's Ross, I mean, that's my boy right there. But, I mean, hey, if I can see a shot, a chance to potentially mess with his roster or something, we're going to do it. And, I mean, hey, it goes back from the start of our team. Like you said, we've had a couple QBs on our roster because we didn't know if Deshaun was the answer or not. So we've just been, as the season's progressing, picking some up. And they've turned into some quality QBs. That's definitely a fact that they've turned into some quality QBs. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely would say that it's a little personal with Ross just because, I mean, hey, we started out with a bad record. We started looking around the league. I was like, this doesn't look like it's going to be a good season. And, I mean, hey, it still's not. We've won a couple, but we're getting the train moving a little. And so we looked around and we're like, I mean, hey, I got to have an impact on something. Maybe being a little selfish. And I was like, this kid, and it was tough to see Dak go down, definitely. No one's a fan of injuries. But when Ross lost Dak, he hit me up. We tried to get a deal done with Deshaun Watson. To me, looked like a deal he definitely should have done. But at the time, he was like, look, Big Ben's putting up more points. Deshaun's struggling. I'm going to hold on that. He didn't take it. And so I was like, all right, he wants to stick with Big Ben. Maybe we can affect his team a little bit more going forward. And we've definitely done that.
All right. Fair enough. Ross, we're going to go right to you. You, I know, had some strong words pre-production, so I want to ask you something. And with D Brown's reaction there and him saying it's personal, I think this is going to be interesting.
It's well known that it's personal.
Yeah. So I want to know, do you think there's anything to the strategy D Brown has played these last couple of weeks in a QB needy league to what it seems like? And calling that a loser mindset, do you think that that's a loser mindset at all, or do you think the loser mindset is purely the fact that it's this personal vendetta he has? Because to me, to be honest, I think the strategy, there's something to it. But the fact also that he's making it personal and openly admitting that, I understand where you're coming from. So curious what the loser mindset is for you, and then also and where a lot of this frustration is coming from. And then also, do you think there's anything to what he's doing?
Yeah, so I will start off with why I think it's a loser mindset. First off, I understand when he was playing me to kind of hoard the QBs because I was pretty needy. But the fact of the matter is, heading into this week, like, he's not seeing me again on the schedule. Nothing I do really affects him. Like, I'm playing different opponents. It's never going to end up, unless it comes down to last week of the season, which I highly doubt with our records right now, where it's going to come down to a tie-break situation. So the mindset of just getting rid of quality players to hold QBs that, I mean, a lot of them have been swung and missed with Fitzpatrick and Minshew, and I think there was one other that I was just like, why? Or Baker Mayfield. It's like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Just you got to focus on your team right now. Like, you're 2-5. You may be at the bottom of the standings, but like, you can make a run. If you get to 5-5, like, anything can happen from there. And I don't agree with getting rid of Marquise Hollywood Brown, who's the number one wideout on the Baltimore Ravens, just to keep 3 QBs so that I can't pick one up. And I think the boiling point, like, I understood we were playing each other. If he didn't want to, if he wanted to pick up Joey B, which looked like a good move, but to go and get Ryan Tannehill today, a guy he knows he's not going to play. He's got Deshaun Watson on a bye, but he's definitely going to play Burrows. It's literally just so I couldn't have him. And I was sitting there, I was like, do I even put a claim in? Like, I'm the 8th spot. Like, I'm only claiming ahead of 2 people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a claim in just because D Brown might wake up at 5 a.m. after the waivers go through and pick him up. And then lo and behold, I open my phone and fucking Tannehill gets claimed by D Brown. And it just felt like, and it's been well established. It was personal, but that just took it too far. There was no need for the Tannehill move. The mindset, yeah, like, it has worked in a way. Like, Carson Wentz, I will say, weeks ago, I was waiting for a guy to go on IR so I could pick him up, and that's shitty. I should have just picked him up and dropped some schmuck that I had on my team. So it's worked out. You got to chase Claypool out of that. But, like, look around the league. Who's trading for a QB the rest of the season unless an injury happens? It's only me. And I think it's been well established in pre-production meetings that the Old Town Pirates will not be making a deal with the Red Zone Rockers. So, like, the mindset worked up into when he beat me and I had no QBs, but it's like, are you paying him, Caleb? Did you pay him and say, hey, yo, pick up Tannehill so he can't do it? Like,
no, but
so
once
now
he did,
riding
I picked
Teddy.
up Jimmy G just to add on.
I saw that move. It was a good move, but I mean, I like Teddy's matchup. The only thing that was scaring me was the rain, but it's looking like it's only going to rain a little. But God,
I'd like to
All right,
say something quick.
D-Brown, back to you. One thing, though, I want you to focus on. Are you hurting your team with this?
No, I mean, definitely not. If we look at the state of our team, can we hurt it anymore with just the injuries? And plus, I'm going to say it, like, I don't think we have a bad team. Looking at my team, like, it's not as bad as it started out with. Deshaun has came around. He's the number 5 QB. We still reached for him. We've said that. I mean, and we've openly came out on the podcast. Deshaun was a reach, a couple bad picks, Kenyon Drake. But it's like, if you're coming back, I mean, I don't want to dive too much into the rosters because this is about the QBs. But I don't think we're hurting our team that much. I mean, Marquise Hollywood Brown is who we dropped. They just signed Dez, but Hollywood Brown is a big hit or miss. He's going to go for 4 or 5 points, or he's going to go for maybe 15.
Yeah, but he has value being on a team. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he should not have been in the waivers.
I mean, I was questioning dropping him, and I was like, should I? But I'm like, I got to do it. And then also, I'll say this. It's also why Ross is so mad is because it's working, man. It's working. If he had picked up Burrow, it could have started him against me, got a win. Never know. My season could be over. Worked there. He told me he tried to get Wentz before Fant went to the IR or whatever. Worked there. He just admitted he tried to claim Tannehill. Worked there. He's so mad because it's working. Tough strategy. But it's also like another thing. Once we did the first one, we claimed the first QB. He added a little fuel to the fire by getting so angry and saying, whatever, enjoy last place. So now he's adding some fuel, and I'm like, you know what? We're going after every QB on the market.
I just want to say a quick point, Caleb. To that
Go ahead.
trade that he discussed, the deal was Deshaun Watson for Darrell Henderson and Deebo Samuel. And I think if you look at my team right now, I am better off for making the trade that I made with Darrell Henderson, given that OBJ's out for the season and given what A.J. Brown's looked like the last 3 weeks. So I think I'm better off. I think I definitely – like, that trade was not for Big Ben. Big Ben, and I said it when I made that trade, he was hopefully going to get me by. And all I got to say is a young rookie on someone's roster that's only a rental for this week is already been being discussed, and we'll hope to make him a Pirate next week.
Sounds like Herbert could be back on the move.
I'll put in my 2 cents real quick. D Brown, Ross, I feel like that was solid. Good, but I just think that's what makes fantasy football great, if you ask me. That's 2 strategies right there. Where Ross has been a little bit more QB adverse. Obviously, having Dak, you're not going to be thinking too much about your backup. But then even with him going down, you're willing to make the trade for Big Ben. Let him get you by, see what comes to you. Whereas D Brown has been very proactive on the QB, and obviously that's clashing. And then you throw in the whole, we'll enjoy last place, not trading for Watson, add a little personal vendetta in there, and it just makes for good storyline and makes fantasy football great. Like if I'm Ross, I'm pissed because someone's coming after me personally. I'm trying to win a little extra cents coming after me, and I'm like, damn it, it's tough enough to win a fucking fantasy football league. So
exactly.
But now he's playing through another obstacle.
I don't need Tannehill. I don't even know why Mac dropped him. That's another point. But I don't know why Tannehill's getting scooped by D Brown, who's already got 2 QBs. When I just played him, like it's almost like Hall slipped him a $50 Venmo and said, "Take Tannehill away from him."
I honestly didn't even realize Tannehill got dropped.
Paul didn't know about it because he texted me. He's like, "Why is Ross so mad?" So it's like literally there was none of that.
I knew that he was pissed because you picked up Tannehill, but I didn't really know if there was more to it and the whole waiver claim.
Oh yeah, he didn't get dropped until the waivers went through first time. So like if he would have been my first claim, obviously, if he was there to start the week. I tried to claim him last week, but Mac got him. Like I've tried to get Tannehill on my squad many times, and he fucking won't.
Yeah, all right, that's good stuff. We have a special guest to join us here this week. Come on up, buddy. Let's hear it.
First off, I'd like to say go Dallas Cowboys.
They suck, Rick. They suck.
I know, but I'm a fan for life.
Love it. Little Ricky, welcome to the podcast.
I got some things to say. I'm going to make it short and sweet, all right?
Let's hear it.
First off, I'd like to call this Paradise Valley Hell Valley because you have a cutthroat league you boys are running here. Clearly, Darrow has a personal vendetta against my cousin and just wants him to lose even if he fucking loses.
Yes.
But what are you going to do? You guys are running a league year after year after year. It's going to be like that. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's an element that you got to love. There's an element. We'll remember the year. Ross will remember the year that he could have had it if he had a QB. We'll remember it maybe.
Well, Ross is right, but you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you're the coaches of your own teams. You make your own calls.
Yep.
Ricky.
Fair enough. How's your team doing?
My team's doing fantastic. I'm 5-2, first place. I got
Who's
some
on the squad?
Consultants on the side help me make calls. But
who's carrying you?
Who's on the squad, Rick?
Oh, geez, my squad.
Top 2 players.
Got a lot of players. I got Aaron Rodgers, quarterback.
Hey, yo.
Who I got? I got fucking Antonio Brown on the bench. Questionable call by some, but I think he's going to be a playoff winner for me.
Oh, Rick.
Love it, Rick.
I scooped him fast. I had a direct line on information. I took him.
Rick, if the Valley ever expands to a 12-team league, would you be interested in interviewing for a spot?
I don't interview. I just take offers. You offer me the spot or not. I'm a professional player. I'm a little unorthodox in my methods, but they seem to pay off this year.
Hell yeah.
The last guy we had in the league came in interviewed in a suit, so you're going to have to live up to that, I think.
Well, I got a few suits in the closet, usually cowboy blue.
I can't see Ricky's video, but it's up there, right?
I see my.
Yeah, I see it.
Good. I can't see it, Rick.
You got any questions? Any fantasy advice? I mean, you're 2-5. He's 5-2. You could ask him for some advice.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish we could just somehow trade players from the other leagues. I'll take a couple from Ricky.
Oh, and I do have one more thing to say.
What's
I
that?
like the accusation saying there's Venmos going around. I like that because, I mean, in my league, there was some underground play last year. I'm not going to say what was being bartered, but there was things being bartered.
I'm confused on that statement. What does that even mean? What?
Was it straight hard cash, beer, titties? What are we talking?
All the above, anything. We run a dirty league over here at my house. Just like they do in Dallas, baby.
Just like they do in Dallas.
Gold Star State.
Jerry Jones Jr.
I like
Ricky,
it.
I never thought we'd see the day of Ricky on the podcast. Love it.
Rick, now you got anything else you want to leave us with before we get into recaps here?
No, I think that's it. Good luck on your league. Just
Appreciate
protect
it, brother.
yourselves, and that's it at all costs. It's a cutthroat league, guys are running. Hell Valley.
Peace out, brother.
All right, peace,
Good
brother.
seeing you, Rick.
You
Peace,
too. You guys
Ricky.
have a nice day. I'm going to finish out the podcast. I'm going to see what you guys have to say.
Hell yeah.
Let's do some table tennis betting later, Daryl. God bless. Go
Definitely.
Cowboys.
Definitely.
God bless America.
All right, since we took a little bit extra time, we're just going to run through the recaps real quick. Nice win for the Mountain Goats, 145-36 to 111-38 over CD's TVs, who are quickly falling to the basement of the league. Josh Allen, really one of the only bright spots, along with Devontae Adams coming back, but not much hope here for Lane. While Matt Sheehan seeming to make a run, over 500 for the first time in a while. Kyler Murray, now he's got Justin Herbert coming in as backup. Gurley continues to plug. I don't think anyone thought that was going to continue to happen. But team looking pretty good there. So Sheehan, a contender. Moving on to Trippers, under 100, got a win. That seems like robbery. But he pulled
Tough to see.
success only with 75. Russell Wilson really carrying the Trippers, and then a nice pitch-in effort from Boston Scott, Tyreek Hill, and Gronk getting in the end zone finally for Kirch. That early draft pick seems to be paying off a little bit here. And then C-Mac. I don't know. What do you guys think? Looking pretty rough, huh?
Yeah, his two RBs. I mean, Zeke with a bad offense now, and David Montgomery is way too touchdown dependent. He gets fed every week, doesn't do anything with the touches.
Still 4-3.
C-Mac's on a hard slide. He's on a
Yeah.
hard slide.
We will see. We'll get more into it in the previews, obviously. Dim Dogs, another dominant effort, 6-1. The kid is just proving all the haters wrong. Those RBs continue to plug, and then obviously 45 from Lockett just blew this one out of the water. Dap had some hope going into Sunday Night Football, and it quickly evaporated.
Antonio Gibson's looking good.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Dap Nappers, you got to give Dap credit. You know, even with his top two picks going out 5 minutes from each other, 3 weeks ago now, he's still put up some good performances, just can't seem to get a win. He's going against some high scorers. So tough at 2-5, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Last but not least, for sure, big win for myself, the Warriors. I said it last week. I'm sick of 105, 110 performances. Needed a bigger one, and we got it over the Sandman. Looked good, especially our defense we had 1 point from our defense entering this week. So multiplied that, added that by 22 or 21. So pretty solid. And then
Good 1 point total.
1 point total.
Wow.
Yeah, through 6 weeks. Pretty bad. And
How about you guys see Joey Sly miss that 65-yard field goal dead center by like a yard?
yeah, you hit it off like the beam, right?
So close, dude. That was a dead center, 65-yarder.
Yeah, definitely an off week for Sandman, but still a talented squad. So I'm not going to put too much stock in that. And then, I guess not last, but obviously we've talked about this matchup. The Rockers got the win over the Old Town Pirates.
We called this one the Odell. Tough one.
That was
one
tough to see because you
You
think with
definitely want to
how
face
well
a guy with
Baker,
the full lineup.
with how well Baker ended up playing that game, it would have been interesting to see. But I just that Boyd trade was just I got to give you credit. That won you the week, and if Freeman's in your lineup, I think I end up winning.
Yeah, I lose.
Yeah. Wow, that's huge. And Dan will continue to back that trade up, but I think all
Three of us, probably all four of us, would agree that it didn't make too much sense.
DeAndre Swift looking decent. Another touchdown.
Touchdown.
We like him.
Get into
We
over
like 'em.
under real quick. Last week I went 2-0. Ross, I think you had Mixon. You didn't replace him, did you?
He did.
Yes, I did. I did Derrick Henry. I went 2-0.
Cool. So Ross is in the lead then at 7-3. We were talking about it, me and Daphne, just couldn't remember. So I'm 6-4, and then D Brown is at 5-5. So
wow, I'm gonna have to start picking like the same guys you picked for an over as my under and try to get some wins back here.
that would be
So
a
just
strategy.
to clarify, we are doing the number that we show tonight, right? Because Clyde was 12.2 last week when we did it during the show, and by game time it was 12.9. Yeah, I think it should be the number that
I think the only exception is if like someone picked Giovanni Bernard right now or like earlier today.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
but no
like drastic
one's probably
happens.
gonna do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. D Brown, we hit it.
Cooper Kupp, bring it home. He's got to have a rebound week, or else I don't know. We'll see. Cooper Kupp. They have a good offense. The Rams have a good offense. This should be a decent scoring game if Tua can do his part. And yeah, I think Tua catches a touchdown. Maybe even two of them gets back on track.
Surprise. Little note from our producer. What do you
I'm
got?
going with AJ Green. I saw today he's 10th in the league in targets. The Bengals, their defense sucks. They're down. They toss the ball around all day. T. Higgins has been looking good, but I still think AJ Green gets his first touchdown of the season and goes well over that 10.8.
Like he's due for a touchdown.
I'm going Darrell Henderson, 12.5. I like him a lot. Cam Akers isn't touching the field. Brown's getting in a decent amount, but I think it's Henderson's run a little bit more than it is Brown's. And usually he's in the red zone. Brown had that big run. I don't know if you guys saw that, carried the whole line down to the 1 yard line for like
the goal line. Yeah.
It was insane. And then they kept him in. But normally Henderson's been in there. So I like his odds to score a touchdown and run the ball pretty well here.
Imagine if the Rams just gave all their running back touches, not all of them, but like 95% of them to one guy. It'd be a stud producer.
I don't know why they play Malcolm Brown so much. It's like Henderson looks like he could be like a top 20 running back in the league. And they just
100%.
continue to like split the carries.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully not this week, though. D-Brown.
My under is Myles Gaskin. I think that, he's definitely a receiving back. He's put up some sneaky numbers. For sure he has. He's flown under the radar. But I think this is going to be more of a passing game. And I think 14 is a decent amount. I think he's under it. Rams got a solid front. Aaron Donald. Rams got a good defense. I think Tua's going to have to air it out.
It's really going to be what Tua does is huge. No one,
But it's like maybe Tua falls in love with the little check down. Maybe he's just looking check down. So we'll see. But I think he's under.
I put a lot of stock in him.
Yeah.
You got?
I got James Conner under 15. Steelers, Ravens, it's always a bloodbath. It's always tough to get every yard. I think it's going to be a lot of the same. The Ravens had a bye week, so they got a nice extra week to prepare for the undefeated Steelers. I think it's going to be sloppy, but I think the Ravens, they get the W, and Connors has a pretty bad day.
Yeah, 15 feels like a lot there. I'm going Jerick McKinnon, 11.2. I think this turns into similar to D. Brown's point. I think this is going to be a lot of throwing the ball for the Niners. And even if they are
running, I don't know. It's going to be a lot of Hasty. It might be a little Coleman if he's back. McKinnon barely played last week, so 11.2 feels like way too much. All right. You guys ready for some previews? Week 8. Getting down to the
big week.
If Lane loses this one, he could be eliminated. Maybe, kind of, sort of, right? Like,
yeah,
playoffs.
I was 1-7. I'm eliminating myself. So
right.
Yeah.
We've never seen anyone get in at 7-7. So
yeah, Ross, go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, I had that bold statement about Kirch's team last week, but you got to expect him to get the dub here. I think the Boston Scott pickup was a nice 2-week rental for him. Dallas looks bad. That looks like it's going to be a big Sunday night for him. The problem with Lane's team is it's just I don't even know. It's the running back 2 situation. He got rid of a guy like DeAndre Swift who could be playing for him, and now he's got a Jamal Williams. And then Jerick McKinnon. I kind of agree with that underhaul. he barely played last week against the Patriots, and they said he was 100% healthy. So that didn't make too much sense. So you got to expect Kirch to pull this out, I think. It would be nice for the league if Lane could pull the upset. Another point on Lane's team, Josh Allen has really come back to life. He had a solid matchup against the Jets last week, and he put up a pretty poor performance. And I think the week before he had a pretty bad one too. So, and I think that's kind of my preseason point. I'm not the biggest Josh Allen guy, and I think the matchup against New England seems juicier than what it is. I think divisional matchup, I think Bill is going to keep it a close game, and Allen stays probably under projections of 22 points in that game.
Patriots are fighting for their life too, so they're going to come out ready. But Lane's, it's going to depend a lot on, because I'm looking at Lane's team. He has Melvin Gordon, who Phillip Lindsay is hurt right now. So if Phillip Lindsay doesn't play, Gordon has a bigger role. Jamal Williams, if Aaron Jones, who knows if he's going to play. But if he doesn't, Jamal Williams could be in for a bigger role. So we'll see. I mean, if those two things happen, it could be a closer matchup.
Yeah, for sure. But those two things could happen for it to be closer. That's never what you want to hear for Lane. So
definitely.
We will see.
Hurts has a good team. Dalvin Cook back off injury, so we'll see.
All right, D Brown, I'll let you.
We'll see if Jacobs can start producing for him.
Yeah, I had some trade talks with Jacobs with Kirk. I don't know if he listens to this, but he's thinking Jacobs is like gold. I mean, yeah, he's a top pick, but
anyone on his team is gold.
He's asking for the house for Josh Jacobs, and I couldn't do it. I got this one.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just say quickly, I had Josh Jacobs for 6 weeks, and he's good, but that O-line is not great, and he doesn't catch the ball too often unless they're losing and trying to get.
Yeah, he definitely panicked after that 1 week with him too. He had a bad week last week, so he's trying to flip him for the house, though, and it's not happening.
All right.
This one here, big one. Petty, solid matchup. I mean, he should put up. He definitely should. If he doesn't, sound the alarms. But, I mean, Clyde is looking like a beast still. Le'Veon played a couple snaps, I think. Maybe they want to get Le'Veon more involved against the Jets, but I think they both can feast. Hunt, good matchup. Thielen, AJ got solid matchups. Brandon Ayuk is a nice flex call there. Ross trying to place Debo with Ayuk. We'll see what happens there, if that will stay. But looking over to the Warriors, this is your guys' second time playing, right? You guys played week 1, was it?
Week 1, yeah. Look up above for you.
Week 1. These projections are freaking sloppy, Hall. Why is that? Oh, you don't have a kicker in.
Or Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon's at Zip. Yeah, he's not playing. Mixon's not playing.
Yeah, I don't know why you even have him in there. He's not playing.
He was just hopeful. Something
hey, it said 17 next to his name and made the projections look better.
Mark Andrews, though, I definitely like that. I definitely like that acquisition of Mark Andrews. And Myles Gaskins, you didn't need to make it, but who was going to be your RB2 if you didn't make it? James White again? I don't know. I'm giving it to the Pirates this week.
I quickly want to just address the 2 trades Hall made. Kind of didn't really say much in the league. I don't know about Myles Gaskin being the league winner. That's kind of a big statement there. I do agree with trying to flip Herbert because, like you said, you're rarely going to start him over Rodgers, and I think he's due to have a little regression for how good he's playing. But I just don't know if Jarvis Landry, like Dee said, I do think Gaskins and Johnson were kind of a wash there. But I just don't know if Landry was the best return for Herbert that you could have got. I think you may have been able to get something better. And then I do like you. Yeah, Sheehan's tough. I do like you snagging Andrews. He's definitely the best player in that trade, what I don't like about your squad is now the Steelers wideout room kind of just seems like a coin flip to me between those 3 guys. Like you don't really know who's going to have a big week. And now you got 2 of them. So that's kind of tough to predict there. So I do like the Andrews over the Henry, but I think you put yourself in a tough situation with the Steelers there.
Yeah.
And then on the DAP side of things, it's like you traded Juju for Woods, who is essentially the same wideout, and you downgraded at tight end. So I almost didn't like it for both sides, which doesn't make sense. But it is not. I don't like seeing Andrews in the lineup against me this week. He's a good player, and
the one thing I'll say, kind of just to and I think all of those points are fair points, and obviously thought about all of those things as I was making these trades. But for me, making that first trade,
David Johnson is what he is. He's not going to get more than 15 points probably for the rest of the season. He's just not an exciting player. And I feel like Gaskin this week might be tough to his first game against a tough matchup, but needed someone. So he's going to fill in. And I like him. He catches the ball, and him and Tua could be dynamic. I'll put my eggs in that basket and see what happens because David Johnson was going to do it. And then the second trade, obviously improving Andrews. I'm hesitant for Juju and Deontay, both on my team, but Deontay is the outside guy and Juju's the slot guy. So I'm pretty comfortable playing matchups there, especially since it's going to be my fourth and fifth wide receiver with Landry as an option as well. So I felt comfortable with making those moves, and that's kind of a little bit why. So, but definitely fair points.
Deontay gets hurt a lot too, Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, so if he gets hurt, then Juju's just the guy. So it's almost like a nice insurance policy too. All right, let's move on. Dim Dogs, Sandman. This is a big one. I think this might be the tip of the week. Just because of how big of an implication it's going to be for Sandman. It's like this guy looked like the number 1 or number 2 in the league a couple weeks ago, and he could very easily be 4-4. So it's going to be a big one. And then obviously if Dim's 7-1, he's starting to run away with it. So this is a huge matchup. Mahomes, Henry, Tyler Lockett, those are just 3 guys in there that you're scared. Every week in, week out, they're going to put up points. Justin Jefferson's been a really nice pickup, pretty good matchup against Green Bay. Fulgham has continued to play well for him, and Johnny Smith's kind of faded, but still decent. So obviously Dim's team is solid, but I'm going to give the edge to Sandman. I'm going with Sandman. I think Kamara against the Bears. I think Saints are going to run all over them. And then Connor obviously was Ross's under. Don't love him this week, but Anderson tonight I have a good feeling about. Waller against Cleveland, 2 touchdowns. I could see it easily. And then Henderson, we talked about it against Miami. It's my over. I like him a lot. So I'm going, and then Wentz obviously against Prescott. It's a good move for Sandman. I'm going for a big win for Sandman. Projections have it, and I'm agreeing. Any thoughts there, boy?
That'd be big for the league.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think Dim's on a pretty hot streak right now, and given that Robinson and Gibson are both on a bye, this just feels like the week that he kind of throws up a lower number and the Sandman gets the dub. But looking at Sandman, this is another week where he's playing a top competitor and they have a bunch of players on bye. I know he played Kirch with, I think, Russ and DK on bye. Now he gets Dim with Robinson and Gibson on bye. That's some pretty good bye luck.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Let's move on. That's going to be a good one to watch. This will also be an interesting one to watch. D. Brown, give us your thoughts here. 4-3 matchup.
C-Mac, I think Sheeny has either won 4 or 3 in a row. It might be 4 though, or no, it's probably 3 because I think it's 3. Yeah, I think it's 3 in a row. But Sheen's team's hot. I saw an update that said Thomas returned to practice, so he would love that if Thomas could get back out there. DJ Moore with a solid matchup. Gurley continues to put up TDs even when he's not supposed to. Looking over to C-Mac, I don't love his team at all. I mean, I don't. C-Mac, don't love it. I think that Sheen's got this one.
Yeah, I could see it. I think C-Mac's team is – Elliott's a piece of it, and that just doesn't look like – he was relying on him for 20 a pop, and it doesn't look like he's going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have Elliott putting up, his RBs are weak.
I think C-Mac may have the worst roster in the league right now.
I literally just looked over to it, and I was like, this team sucks.
Maybe Lane,
I mean, my team sucks, but that's ugly.
He's got 3 good wide.
I don't know.
At least. I mean, Evans hasn't done shit lately except score a couple touchdowns.
Evans hasn't done shit all season. Has he?
He was leading the league in touchdowns through week 6, but he has like maybe –
These touchdowns are sick. Remember that stat line? He had
1 yarders,
2 catches, 2 TDs. Like,
yeah, I agree though, Ross. Don't like this roster. Don't like it.
I think Lane's is the worst in the league.
Yeah, but I think C-Max is down. Like, I think there's a couple teams at 4-3 who just kind of are lucky to be there, and C-Mac is leading that group. And I think I've been harping on Sheen's team week after week in the pod, and I love it. I think even without Jones last week, without Michael Thomas all year, like he's putting together and Kyler Murray he's looking like a fantasy MVP.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. Ross has
I'll
said
put
that.
Sheen down in front of me.
Ross has said for week after week that he's continued to give Sheen the credit. He has a good team. He does. But looking at C-Max, besides Zeke, and even now with the way that the Cowboys are going, like, do you like look at his running backs? I don't think you want to start any one of his running backs. I mean, Zeke for sure, because you got to. But other than that, do you want to start Montgomery? Do you want to start Fournette and Bell? Questionable.
Montgomery's getting so much volume. He deserves.
He does. He gets it, so he needs to
He's
start.
ugly. Yeah.
But for all that volume, you would expect him to have like a 25-point fantasy game. He never does.
For sure. All right, Ross, finish us off with this last matchup. I think this is the two lowest projections if you don't include mine with two missing players.
This is tight. I think I was looking at D's roster. It's gonna adjust because Bernard's. Oh, it did adjust.
No,
He's
it
at
did.
14 now.
Actually, it did. Yep.
Okay.
These are real.
Yeah,
These are good.
This should be a tight one. I think Dap. It's almost looked like CMC was going to be playing against him. Now he gets Mike Davis. He's going to need a night out of Mike Davis. I know he got a lot of shit for the Justin Jackson trade. I think that's another one that he's going to need some production out of this week. And then even all his trades, the Robert Woods, Henry, Dap's going in with a very traded roster this week. And it's kind of – this is – the winner of this kind of puts himself in a position. I'm looking at it, if I'm one of those two, like get to 5-5 and then see what happens. And this is where you start. It's if you look at it, you're playing one of the bottom three teams in the league, whatever way you look at it. So it's like this is one you got to win. I think I got to give the edge to D Brown right now because I think the Bengals just play such wild, high-scoring games because their defense is bad, and that Bernard-Boyd combination is pretty good. And I have Cooper Kupp in another league. He's due to get it going for how good their offense is. And that's a little interesting dynamic of the Woods Cup, whoever's going to get it. But we'll see what Julio can do tonight. I'm definitely rooting for Julio over Ridley, but I got to give it to D. But it should be – the projections are pretty right. I think it's going to be close, and we'll see what Tom Brady can do on Monday night to possibly give Dap the win.
Real quick,
I'd like to take a second to just defend those trades that were attacked real quick and say, one,
Go for it.
Justin Jackson wasn't flashy last week. He was definitely coming off injury, splitting more carries than I anticipated, but he was also still my highest scoring running back. Not great, but he was. Second, Robert Woods, Hunter Henry, like definitely a downgrade from Mark Andrews, obviously, but nobody wanted to trade. Like there was no way I was getting like that much for a tight end right now. Like I tried to trade the one kid I thought would love Mark Andrews. C-Mac has a Ravens fan and Lamar Jackson, and Tanyan really hasn't been good except for those 2 weeks, especially since Devontae Adams has come back, and he wanted nothing to do with them. So I made a trade, and Robert Woods is just way more consistent than Juju. Like he has 11.7 a game, and Juju has 10.7. But if you take out Juju's 22-point game in the first week, like he has had like multiple games under 5 points. I just can't do that.
Tough to take out a
Woods
week.
is very consistent.
But no, I agree with the higher upside play is Woods for sure. Definitely.
I think my 2 cents on these two teams right here is two teams that didn't make trades early. I think D Brown didn't make them because he had a beat up team and didn't want to give, for less value than he had to. And he's hung on. It's looked all right. And will he be able to bounce back? And then for Dap, obviously those 2 injuries, will he regret not trading one of them right away and getting some value? Obviously Mike Davis filled in, but 2 teams that have bit the injury bug and fought back pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see if either of them. I think the winner of this matchup is sitting pretty good though.
At Dap, it's like, wow, who would have thought? Me and Dap, it seems like we're the first one in the playoffs. Seems like this is an elimination game, Dap.
Yeah, I mean, either
it
else
definitely does.
This seems like a playoff game here.
I mean,
Win or go
You've
home.
been saying it's been playoff games for you for weeks,
Yeah,
Dave.
it has been. It has been.
I will, as much
I
as
said I needed to go 3-3 after those 2 injuries happened to survive the 6 weeks. I went 0-3. This has to be the start of 3-0. So
as much as I've been giving D shit and complaining about some of the moves he's made, I do respect the hell out of holding on to Christian McCaffrey and not blowing up. I'm sure he was getting plenty of offers early on. And he was kind of from the beginning said, I'm not trading McCaffrey. I'm not trading. He stayed true to it. And looks like next week against the Chiefs and what'll probably be a high scoring game, he's going to get one of the most dynamic fantasy players in history back. So I'll give him credit there.
It's not too fucking late, though. Hopefully it's not too late. That's why we need this one. It's like it could all be too late.
Yeah. Similar storylines for both teams. Will one of them be able to pull a miraculous comeback?
We'd love to see it. That's it for Paradise Valley Podcast this week, folks. You guys want to add anything before we send it off?
Yeah, I wasn't going to trade CMC. I don't even think if we got the best offer. I mean, after last year with Barkley, trading him and watching him go to a team that ended up winning it, even though C-Mac had a lot of other things that helped him win it, I wasn't going to watch that happen again, so we held on. It's like, what offer can you get really at this point in his career for CMC that's going to be worth it? Nothing, really. I was thinking, like, maybe straight up at one point, Dalvin Cook. But you can't get that from Kirk. Kirk goes, let me get Dalvin Cook for CMC and both the Carolina running backs. I said, what? Can't, like, no. So that's me giving up 3 running backs. One of them CMC for Dalvin Cook. But yeah,
even if it doesn't pay off this year, you still have him as a keeper option. So
yeah, we'll see. Big week.
I'll quickly say I haven't been as nervous as I am about a specific decision as I am with Teddy tonight.
I can't wait to watch it. Well,
it is not going to be a fun game. Mother Nature hold off. Teddy's got the 2 gloves, so he'll be able to get the good grip on it. And hopefully he's just dropping dimes on. And hopefully it's just high scoring, so he's throwing all day. Hopefully it's a little deja vu to that Thursday week 2 when everyone's like, what are you doing starting 2 Browns? And I can just throw the bird up to everyone at the end of the night.
Teddy 2 gloves is throwing 2 picks.
Ross, let's go with let's do 20.5 points over under.
I mean, I'm hoping he just hits like 18.
Really? All right.
If he goes over 20, I'm happy. 100%. Because I like my other matchups for the rest of the week where I think if he can get me 20 points, I think we have a great chance to win.
Yep.
I like it. All right, boys. We'll see. Great podcast. We'll be back next week. Hopefully.
If anyone needs QBs, we have them. We roster them.
I think the league knows, D. Brown. All right.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Peace, boys.
I always get it back, nigga. I'ma live my life. I get lost in paradise. See me get on, yeah. It's a party that they call it, make it sure that I'ma get